Hello everyone and welcome back to Farming Simulator 19. This is going to be the ultimate challenge. I had to run from Saibukowo because I got really in debt. It wasn't pretty. I'll tell you that whole story after I go through a few things here. But as I said, this is going to be the ultimate challenge. Look at my finances here. I have maxed out my loan. Completely maxed out. So I owe the bank a ton of cash. Also, I own absolutely no land whatsoever. This is start from scratch mode. So it's also seasons. I've got it set for 3-day seasons. Everything else is just how it comes. And if you look here in the settings, you can see the economic difficulty is at normal, the way it comes. I turn traffic off because it's annoying, but dirt is normal. Everything else is the same. Fuel usage is the default. Crop destruction I turned off because I like to drive through fields, but everything else is on except for weeds because weeds really sucks. So I don't do weeds at all. But I have to lime, I have to plow, and I have $7 to my name. All I own is that pickup truck. That's it. I don't own anything else. So what we're going to do right away is we're going to grab a contract. So field 4 needs to be plowed. So that looks good to me. Let's see where field 4 is. Okay, that's right up here, this white one, right there. So that needs to be done. And we'll make just over $4 grand, but we're gonna have to borrow the equipment, so that's gonna cost us $709 to borrow the equipment. So we'll make a little over $3,000 for this job. So we're gonna jump in this Massey Ferguson that we borrowed from the farmer. We need to put the front weight on so that we don't tip when I pick up this heavy ass plow. If I can do this without hitting my truck. As you all know, my driving skills are a bit suspect sometimes. All right, we'll grab this guy and we're going to head on over to field 4, and I will see you when I get there. All right, we are coming right up here on field 4, and we need to lower this plow down, get it lined up, and we need to plow this field. Now what I think I'm going to do for this field is I will do one full headland around it and then probably skip ahead to close to when it's done. I'll do a lot of this off camera because this is going to take a hell of a long time. Because as you can see, I'm barely doing any of the field with each pass. It's a tiny little section because of the way this plow is situated. But let me tell you what happened. So this is going to be a narrative series that I'm going to do. So there's going to be a storyline to it that I'm going to kind of make up this cool story to go along with it to make it a little bit more fun. First of all, before I start the story, I want to tell you I got the idea to do this with no money. I was watching Mr. Sealy P. He is a YouTuber that does a lot of farming videos. He's awesome. I love that guy. And he was talking about that he was thinking about doing a series where he had no money. And I thought that is such an interesting idea. I would love to do that. So that's where I got the idea to do this way. So hat tip to Mr. Sealy P. If you guys have not watched his videos yet, go check out his channel. He is phenomenal. He's this gentleman from England, really cool guy, and he makes really, really awesome farming simulator videos. I really love watching them. So anyway, that's where I got the idea to do it. So now, the narrative. We were in Saibukowo, and you might notice this is a lot different. This is Goldcrest Valley. I had to leave Saibukowo because I have a bit of a gambling problem, and I was betting on the games here in America with a local tough guy there, Fat Frankie. He's a bookmaker and kind of like their version of the mafia over in Poland. So I got in really deep to this dude. I mean, we're talking well over $1 million deep. And pretty much he gave me an ultimatum that either I pay the money that I owe, or he was going to send Tony Ninefingers to my house. And Tony Ninefingers were going to break my legs. And I kind of like my legs the way they are. So I figured what I would do is I would just make a run for it. So that's what I did. I took off. Now, I got in contact with an agent over there, a real estate agent, and I sold the farm that was there. And I had all of that money wired to Fat Frankie to try to start to pay off the debt. Unfortunately, it was not enough, and I had to take out a very sizable loan with the bank in order to pay him the rest of the money that I owed him. So I am free and clear now. I do not have to worry about Tony Ninefingers coming to my house and breaking my legs. I also don't have to worry about Fat Frankie getting tired of waiting and having me killed or anything like that. I am completely and totally out of debt with him. But I owe the bank a hell of a lot of money. So what I figured I would do is I wouldn't tempt fate. I was going to come back to my hometown here in Goldcrest Valley. This is where I grew up. My father was a farmer, and that's how I learned how to do all the farming stuff. So I figured I would come back here and start fresh. I don't have any money. I don't have any equipment, unfortunately. All I have is my pickup truck. So I figured what I would do is I would start a little business where I would do contracts for the local farmers, do the jobs they didn't want doing, like plowing and sowing the fields and even harvesting if they wanted me to. Basically, whatever I can to make money. And I'm going to try to buy some equipment eventually and get myself back on my feet. Hopefully, one day I will actually be able to buy a plot of land of my own and start farming for myself instead of for other people. All I have in the world is my pickup truck, and my uncle still has my father's house, and he has been gracious enough to allow me to sleep there. So when nighttime comes, I'll be able to go to my dad's old house and crash out. But I do not own the land. And if I want to farm that land, I have to buy that land off my uncle. So that's the basic story of what is going on right now. I really screwed up, and it was stupid, and I think I've learned my lesson. I hope I have. I'm going to meetings, so we'll see what happens. But God willing, I won't have that problem anymore. So we have finished the original headland here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep plowing, obviously, because I got to get this job done to make this money. But instead of you sitting through the entire thing with me, I think what we're going to do is kind of skip ahead a little bit until now. We are almost done with this field. We only have a little bit left. Now, I'm not going to have to finish this entire field because once you get to 100%, that's it. You don't have to do anymore. The farmer's satisfied and you get your money. So once we reach that point, we will be done with this field. This took a hell of a long time. And this is a small field. I can't imagine what the big fields are going to be like. Okay, that contract is done. So let's get our cash. We are going to collect. We made $3,494 off that job. And it took pretty much an hour, maybe a little bit more than that to do this field. So the only other contract we have that is worth anything is this one here that's cultivating on field 13. So we're going to do that. All right, we are here at field 13. It is the one right next to the Pacific grain here. It's a kind of large field, but it's not too bad. But we're going to be cultivating, so that's not as bad as plowing. It's a bigger instrument, the cultivator is. It covers more ground, and I can move a lot quicker while I'm doing it. So we're going to do what we did before, which is do the original headland of this. And then instead of skipping it, because this will go much faster, I think I'll just do some fast farming once I get the original headland done. This is a really neat piece of equipment here. It's got the cultivator that I'm towing, and then behind the cultivator, it's got this little piece that actually kind of smooths out the ground. So after the cultivator goes over it and kind of breaks up all the big chunks, this piece behind it will kind of flatten those chunks out behind it. Or not the chunks, but the little pieces that came off the chunks is what I'm trying to say. It's kind of really cool, but it's going to be a challenge, I think, to turn this thing properly. If I was just pulling the cultivator by itself, it would be much easier to control, but I've got to account for this other piece behind it. And I've never operated one of these before, so this is going to be interesting. I'm going to try to turn here. Yeah, that's kind of wonky how that turns. That's okay. We'll get it on the next pass. Oh my God, I am missing so much. Look at this. Yeah, this is going to take some getting used to, this piece of machinery, because it is very weird how it turns. It's not smooth like an individual cultivator would be. I guess because it has that tow along bit, it makes it really slippy is the only way I can really describe it. It wants to kind of go all over the place. It's kind of swirly. But that was a little bit better. So I'm sure after a pass or two, we will get the hang of using this thing to where it won't be so bad. I think the move is to kind of drive past it and turn around and make the next pass. Because that worked way better than trying to just turn it like I would a plow. I don't like the plow that I was using on the last job. I like the straight plows, the ones that are straight across. I don't like those angled plows. They're weird. It's very difficult to judge where you are with that plow and to make turns properly with it. It's just very weird. Now, if you're somebody that uses those kind of plows often, then it shouldn't be much of a problem. But the plow I have at the house is not an angled plow like that. It is a straight plow. And that's what I'm used to using. It's very strange to try to operate the angled plow. It definitely takes some getting used to. So I think the first thing I'll probably buy once I get the money will be a very small tractor and a straight plow of some sort. Something that will operate kind of like the cultivator here is operating, to where it'll go straight behind me and it's not all angled and weird. Because I don't like the way that drives at all. And it takes forever. I mean, it's this big giant plow, and if it was sideways, you could plow so much more of the field at once. But instead it's angled, so it's a nightmare because you're only covering a couple rows at a time. And believe me, it took a long time to do. All right, so that is the headland done on this field. So when we get lined back up here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fast farm the rest of this. You'll be with me to watch, but I'm going to kind of go at light speed here because it's going to take a long time to do this field as well. This one will probably be about a 40-45 minute field is what I'm guesstimating, but for you it won't take that long at all. As you can see here, we are now fast farming. This is simply an editing trick. You can't actually do this on the game. There is a way you can do fast farming on the game where you, with certain pieces of equipment, you can fold and unfold it very quickly and put it up and down, and you'll be able to drive at your normal speed instead of the slower speed. And maybe I'll teach you how to do that in one of these episodes with a piece of equipment that it actually works with. But it doesn't work with all the equipment. It's kind of an exploit of the mechanics of the game because the game thinks that you've picked up the piece of machinery, but in reality, you've kind of picked it up and put it right back down super fast. So you're tricking the game into thinking that the implement that you're towing, like let's say a cultivator in this case, is actually up. So the tractor drives at normal speed, but in reality, it's actually down and you're cultivating the field, but you're doing it super fast, if that makes sense. As I said, it doesn't work with all equipment. It only works with a few kinds of equipment. You can do it with some mowers and you can do it with some cultivators, and you might be able to do it with some plows. I'm not sure about the plows. I've never done it with a plow. But I've never gotten it to work with like a harvester or anything like that. So there's only certain pieces of equipment that you can trick the game into thinking is up instead of down. I don't exactly know why that is. I think it would be a very cool thing if one of these amazing, wonderful modders would make a mod that enables you to operate all of your machinery at your top speed instead of having to go super slow. Because like my tractors, right, your normal tractor will go somewhere around 30 miles an hour on the game. Some will go a little bit faster, some will go a little bit slower, but that's the baseline, is around 30. But you can't ever actually use the tractor at 30 miles an hour because when you are plowing, you're going about 6 or 7, sometimes up to 9 if you have enough horsepower. When you are cultivating, you're going about 9 or 10. When you are seeding, you're going about the same. So there's a lot of speed that you're not getting out of your tractor because you're using the implement. But if a modder would make it so that you can always go at 30, even if you're plowing or even if you're cultivating or whatever, that dude would be a hero. And I, as well as I'm sure a lot of other people that love this game and play this game, would sing the praises of that modder until the end of time, because that would make a dramatic difference in how we play the game. So as you can see, this does not take very long at all when I speed it up. And imagine if you could actually farm this way. If this wasn't just an editing trick, if when you're playing the game you could drive like this, get your full speed out of your tractor and just cruise, it would be amazing. You wouldn't have to spend like an hour on the field anymore. All right, that is that contract done. So let's get our money. We only made a little over $1,000 on that because we had to borrow the equipment. That sucks, but it is what it is. All right, let's see where this field is. We're looking for field 3, needs to be plowed. I think I'm going to go ahead and buy this plow first, if I have enough money. Let's see, what can I... There's a modded plow right here, this Tetra 4 that I really like. It's a straight plow, but it's $8,000. I don't have enough for that. So I think I'm going to wait actually until I can buy that, because I don't want to buy a little 3-meter plow. The Tetra 4 is a 4-meter plow, so that'll work. So let's do this field 3 here. We'll go ahead and borrow the equipment again, and it's another one of those damn angled plows, so this is going to suck. Now, ordinarily when I play this game, I'm not going to be taking plowing contracts and all that, because they're just a nightmare to do. But as I said, this is the ultimate challenge, because I'm on start from scratch mode, which is the hardest mode, and I'm starting with no money and no equipment other than my pickup truck and no land. So I have to earn enough money to even buy the basic equipment. And like the cheapest land, I think I can buy one for like 20 grand on this map, but it's a tiny little field. But to buy the little home farm that I start on is like $100,000. So that's going to be the end of this episode. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel and all that. And I will see you on the next episode. Until I speak to you again, love many, trust few, and do harm to none. God loves you. So do I. Bye-bye.